Hello guys, welcome back to Horus Labs YouTube channel. And if you're just joining us for the first time today, I encourage you to check out the previous videos if it's your first encounter with Cairo. In the last video, we explored the Cairo programming language, looking at why you should actually make an attempt to learn in Cairo in 2024. And today we're going to be doing something very amazing. We're going to be writing our first line of Cairo code. I'm sure you're excited because I really am. All right, so it's going to be what we're going to be doing today is going to be pretty much very simple. So we're going to be first of all installing Scarb. Of course, we need like an environment. We need a build toolchain, right, for like compiling Cairo code and a whole lot of other actions we're going to be doing, right. So Scarb is like Cairo's build toolchain and package manager. It's available on Linux, Mac OS, and Windows, and we're going to be going through like the installation. And of course, I'm on a Windows on a Mac OS laptop, right? So we're going to be a little bit biased towards Mac users, but I think the process for installation on Linux is also very similar. Windows it's a bit more hacky, but like I'll show you where you can find installation instructions if you're like on Windows. All right, so we're going to be installing Scarb. Afterwards, we're going to be writing like a very simple program that prints hello world. So of course I want to believe like this is not your first encounter with programming, and every single time you had to learn a language, one of the first things they probably asked you to do, right, was to print hello world. And today we're going to be doing our first console.log hello world. Yep. And of course, we're going to be learning how we can use basic Scarb commands to create a project, execute a program, build your programs, and plenty other things. And if you are stuck on anything, right? So if you probably watched this video, got stuck anywhere, you could reach out to me like on Twitter at 0xdarlington or on Telegram at darlington68. Always I'm happy to help you out. But of course, the Starknet community and it's very helpful and lively one, right? So if you run into any issues, you could hop onto the Starknet Discord server, and I assure you're going to find someone who will be very much happy to help you solve your problems. And with that being said, I'll say let's get started. Okay, all right. So the first thing we're going to be going into is the whole installation process, right? So I said Cairo can be installed simply by downloading Scarb. You don't really need to install Cairo separately, right? It comes bundled with Scarb, right? The compiler comes bundled with Scarb. Now, Scarb is heavily inspired by Rust's Cargo, and it's a lot like Cargo. So if you've probably used Cargo within the Rust ecosystem, it's a lot like it. It helps you handle a lot of tasks such as building your codes, downloading the libraries. Your code depends on building those libraries, and of course providing language server support basically. So there's the VSCode Cairo 1 extension, which we're also going to be checking out. And yeah, let's just get started by installing Scarb. All right, so going through the Cairo book, right, you see the requirement to basically install Scarb, right, is that you have a Git executable to be available basically in your party environment variable. So make sure you have Git installed. I also advise make sure you have Rust installed too. It's probably help you with the a lot more things as we go further during the series, right? So for the installation process, there are two basic ways you can actually install Scarb. So the first is by using ASDF. So ASDF is basically a CLI tool that can help you manage multiple versions, runtime versions basically of a language, so you can actually switch between versions on a per project basis. But to keep this tutorial simple, we're just going to be using a very simple call command that comes with the Scarb documentation. And yeah, that's true. You can find the Scarb documentation at docs.softwaremansion.com. Of course, Software Mansion is the amazing team behind the development of Scarb. Big ups to them. Yeah, so you can find the docs here. It's actually very detailed and goes into a whole lot of things. So but we're going to be starting with let's go to the download section. Now, within the download section, right, as I said, it requires the Git executable to ensure that that's available. Then we are going to install via like the installation script. Now, you would see like there are pretty much like different installation scripts. This is like the basic one. This is if you want to install the latest nightly release, and this is if you want to install like a special what's it called, a special Cairo compiler version. And I want us to use 2.7.0, which is like the latest Cairo version. So I'm just going to use this, right? So um I'm going to open my, what's it called, my terminal. But for, okay, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll just use the terminal that comes like with VS Code. So let's just hop on to VS Code. Yep. So yeah, I have the simple readme prepared, right? And every single time for every new video we release, we're going to update this readme. So we're here, which is basically like write your first line of Cairo code. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we want to install Scarb. So I'm just going to paste that command in here and I'm going to run it. So the installation process has started. While we wait for that to complete, let's hop back to like our browser. All right, so I said for Windows users, right, I was going to like give some instructions on how you can basically install it. So if you can go into the documentation, right, this is like for Windows users. Scarb needs like a bit of manual installation. So first off, you need to like download the release archive, ensure to check for the one which matches your like CPU architecture. Then you need to extract it to a location where you'd like to have Scarb installed basically, and the folder should be named Scarb in this particular location. And yeah, ensure to add it to the scarb/bin directory, so like the executable will be in your path. And once you have Scarb installed, right, you can always check like you can always verify that your installation was completed successfully, right, by running Scarb version. And of course, it's like the process to have it uninstalled. Okay, so yeah, also I talked about ASDF earlier, which is like a CLI tool you can use to like manage what's it called, multiple language runtime versions, right, on a per project basis. And yeah, so the reason I didn't really want us to go this route is because first of all you need to have like ASDF installed, and then you can basically use this. So you can check it out basically, but we are just going to be sticking with the installation scripts for like the time being. So I'm just going to hop into my what's it called, my code editor, and let me see if like that has finished installing. So as you can see, Scarb has been successfully installed and should be already available in your path. So let's run Scarb version to see if like so I'm just going to clear this so we'll have more space and run Scarb version. And as you can see, Scarb is on 2.7.0 and we have the Cairo compiler version 2.7.0. So remember I said earlier that Cairo comes bundled with Scarb, and the version of Scarb always matches like the latest version of like the latest version of Scarb will always like correlate or match with like the latest version of like the Cairo compiler. And here we're on Sierra 1.6.0. All right, so now we have everything we need to go. Let's dive back into the Cairo book and let's see what we need to do next. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into like the Cairo book and let's okay, so I for the purpose of this video, right, I wanted to assume you already have VS Code extension in sorry, VS Code installed, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be checking for like the Cairo 1 extension like on the VS Code marketplace. So if I go back into my code editor, right, and go to like the marketplace and search Cairo 1, let me just search Cairo, right, and I think this should be yeah, this should be the version that comes installed with Scarb, right? So I already have this installed, but for you who probably do not, you should like yeah, you should definitely like click on install to like install it. And yeah, so I have it installed, and so I guess we're ready to go, right? So okay, so I just realized I probably wasn't sharing my VS Code, right? So I'm just going to Let me do that. So this was the extension I was talking about, the Cairo extension. Yeah, so you can find it like within the extension marketplace. It's called Cairo 1.0. Like I said, I already have mine installed. So if yours is not installed yet, please like go install it so you can have like the beautiful syntax highlighting and plenty other features that come with it, such as autocomplete and so on and so forth. Okay, so now we have confirmed like we have the Cairo extension installed. Let's go back to the Cairo book and let's see what we have to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the next chapter or the next chapter, right? So this is where we now get to write our first line of Cairo code. But of course, like I said, to do this, first of all, we need to like create a project directory. So it says you start by making a directory to store your Cairo code, obviously. So it doesn't matter to Cairo where your code lives. But for the exercises and projects in this book, we suggest making a Cairo projects directory, your home directory, and keeping all your projects there. So as you can probably see, if you go to my own code editor, right, you'll see like I had to name mine Cairo videos, right? So in here, I'm going to like be storing every single what's it called? Every single code or everything we write basically during the course of this becoming a Cairo Note series. I'm going to be storing it here. So it just helps like with organizing should I say organizing your stuffs, right? So you know, okay, you have like a single folder for everything Cairo related. So I advise you to do that if you can. All right, so now we are going to create our first project with Scarb. And to do that, Scarb has this command, the new command, which is used to like create a new project. So we're going to say Scarb new hello world, and it's going to create a new directory and project called hello world. So we've named our project Hello World, and Scarb creates its file in directory of the same name. So go into the Hello World directory with the command this. Okay, yep. So for what's it called, for further organization, I'm going to do something. So I'm going to create another subdirectory. So I want to call it becoming a Cairo Not one. So everything we're going to do as pertaining to like this particular episode is going to like we're going to have it inside that folder. So I'm just going to cd into like becoming the Cairo Note one. Let's clear that, and I'm going to run Scarb new hello world, and yep. So it's asking which test runner do you want to set up. Of course, it's basically asking what you want to use specifically for writing tests. So there's Foundry, which comes with like a lot of scripts, right? If you're familiar with Solidity, right? Just think of it as a replica of the Foundry framework you have like for Solidity development. So it comes with like scripts for performing like a lot of actions, for mocking the blockchain, for carrying out forcing actions, and plenty others. So if you're developing like a production app, of course, like you would want to go with the Stacknet Foundry. I would advise you to go with Stacknet Foundry. But for the purpose of this particular tutorial, we're just going to be going with Cairo Test. So we have like a very simple framework. All right, so it says it has created what's it called, the Hello World package. So let's go back. Let's go into our background folder, and here you can see the hello world folder, and when you initialize Scarb, you can see it comes with three major things: the source folder, the .gitignore, and the scarb.toml. So let's just start from the .gitignore, which is basically what comes with most which you basically add to most Git files to basically ignore some certain files within like your folder or your project, right? So for example, we do not want anything from the target. So the target is basically where our build files, our Sierra files, and so on and so forth, where it goes into, right? And we don't want anything from the target folder to be pushed to GitHub, and that's the reason why we have to add it to .gitignore. Then we have the scarb.toml file, which is basically like which you think of it as what carries the specification of the project. So we have the package, which contains things like as pertaining to like this particular package, such as the name, which is hello world, the version of the package, the edition of prelude uses, right? And in here you have the dependencies section, which will contain like all the dependencies that are going to be used within this particular project. Dependencies such as like you could use Open Zeppelin, right? Some popular ones like Open Zeppelin, the Alexandria, which was created, the Alexandria, which was created by the community, right? And of course, for dev dependencies, we have like Cairo test for running tests. Yeah, so I think I've kind of like been seeing a lot of things, right? We've probably been seeing a lot of things from our end. So let's just hop back into the Cairo book and see what's contained in there. All right. So within the Cairo book, we just instantiated a new folder called Hello World. Now it says going to the Hello World directory with the command see the Hello World. You see that Scarb has generated two files. Of course, there's this which we've looked into. Yeah, we haven't looked into the source directory yet, right? But this is when you open the scarb.toml in your text editor of choice. It should look similar to this. So this file is in the toml toms obvious minimal language. Wow, I just learned something new. Funnily, I didn't even know that before this video. Yeah, so it's basically like the toml format, which is Scarb's configuration format. And of course, the first line package is a section heading that indicates that the following statements are configuring a package. So the name, the version, edition, just like we looked at earlier. All right, let's just scroll down because of time. So it says we should open. It says let's open the other file created by Scarb, which is source/lib.cairo, and we are going to like add this to it. So we're going to, okay, let's just do that ourselves. I think things we get better understanding of things when we like kind of like practice them. So back into our code editor. All right, so if you go into the source folder, you should find the lib.cairo, and yeah, there's this beautiful icon that comes with like your Cairo files now, and I love this. I know you do too. So this was probably not available like with previous Scarb versions, right? So it came with like the recent LSP that was bundled with I think 2.7, right? So it's beautiful, and I hope you have this too on yours. All right, so this was what we asked to clear. So of course this is like to you might be like a lot of jargon for now, but we're going to be looking into stuffs like this, right? So we're going to be learning all this in this series. Okay, so in here we're going to do something, right? So we're going to come into our source folder and let's create a file. Let's call this hello world.cairo. All right, and within this lib.cairo we're going to specify mod hello world. So in a later episode of this series, right, we're going to be looking at modules, and we're going to be understanding like basically the whole structure, the hierarchy of like your Cairo, your instantiated Cairo full of Scarb package, right? Get to understand why we've been doing some of these things, right? But for now, what I just want you to keep in mind is think of the lib.cairo as like an entry point that for your projects, right? So think of it as the first file the compiler will go to, and it should point basically like to other what's it called, other contracts or other contracts file in your project, right? For example, we have this hello world.cairo. So in here we're going to tell the compiler, okay, this module is something I want you to like look into, right? So like I said, just think of it as, for now, just see it as like the entry point for like your Cairo program. All right, so going into the hello world folder, in here we're going to be writing our first line of Cairo code. I'm tensed. We're about to do something amazing, or about to take a huge step. All right, yeah, I'm just kidding. Let's go back. And in our Cairo book, right, so it says we need to create a new file. We've done this, and we're going to put the following code in it. Right, so let's just copy this and paste it. So we're going to explain what this does. I know I said we're going to like we're going to write our first Cairo code, but it seems like we'll be copying the first one. But no worries, we're going to try to understand it and then probably write it ourselves. All right, so we have this function, the main function, and we have this inside, this code inside. Okay, so we're going to start with the structure of like a normal career program. All right. So and something I would probably also want to mention, right, which like a lot of persons who come into the ecosystem like tend to confuse is right. There's a difference between Cairo programs and Stacknet contracts. So think of programs Cairo like I said earlier, Cairo like enables like verifiable general computations, right? And this does not really exactly have to be what's it called? Have to be just contracts that run on Stacknet. So you can write even stuff like programs that are not exactly like for like the stagnant layer too, right? So but contracts are basically like the stuffs you deploy on stagnant. So let's just for now let's just keep it as that. So career programs are not contracts. Contracts are, you could say contracts are programs. Basically they are advanced programs, but the programs are not like contracts because you can't deploy this basically like on the stagnant network. All right, so and this is like a basic career program. A career program should have a main function. So this is like the entry point for your file. I know we've mentioned a lot of entry points. The lib.cairo file, the entry point for like your whole folder structure, the hello world.cairo, the entry point, the main function, sorry, the entry point for this particular program. All right, so this is like the first function your compiler is going to look for when it comes into like this hello world.cairo. So we have this strange code in here. The first thing we can see in here is the print line macro. Now this is called a macro. We're also going to be looking at macros in like a later series. Don't worry, be patient, be patient. But if you want to run faster than your shadow, you can always check out the career book. But let's for now just know that this is a macro, right? And so this is how you recognize macros, right? This so they're similar to how you'd probably like call a function, but they have like this exclamation mark at the end. All right, and what this macro does basically is it prints things to like our command line. All right, and we're saying we want to print this, which is like what we call a byte array. So this is like this is similar to like a short string, right? Okay, we are also going to look at all this in like the next I think it's in the next episode where we get to look into like common programming concepts. We're going to be looking into like short strings, different variable types like in Cairo. But for now just know like this is like a simple string and we want to like print this to like the command line. So let's try to run this program and let's see what it does. So first of all, we're going to let's try to build. So to build your what's it called? To build your career program, you use the command scarb build. Remember to initiate or instantiate a new like career what's it called? A new package project whatever, right? We use the scarb new command to build your package. Use like the scarb build command. So when we run scarb build oh sorry, I'm running from back one, so let's just cd into hello world. Yep, let's clear that. Let's run scarb build again. Nice, it compiles without errors. That's good. And before we run, let's go back into like the career book again. I think we're kind of like moving faster than our shadow. So let's just go back into the career book. And all right, let's see what it says. So it says we have just created a file called libcairo which contains a module declaration referencing another module named hello world containing the implementation details of the hello world module. A lot of English. So it says Scarb requires your source files to be located within the source directory. Very important. So all your contracts, basically the things you want to be visible to like the compiler, right? Ensure to like locate them within like the source directory. So the top level project directories is out for stuff like README files, license information, configuration files, and any other non-code related contents. Right, noted. So yeah, something we didn't look at, right, is you can actually like start a project that doesn't use Scarb and probably convert it to a project that uses Scarb. And how you do it basically is you move the project code into source directory and create an appropriate scarb.toml file. But that's not what our concern. What I want to look into, right, is this other last statement. It says you can also use scarb init command to generate the source folder and the scarb.toml it contains. So let's try that command. So if we go back into our code editor, all right, so I'm going to create another folder. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to make another folder. Let's call this hello world 2. All right, so we now have a hello world 2 folder. I'm going to cd into hello world 2. Let's clear that, and I'm going to run scarb init. We got it right. So it's going to ask you which test runner do you want to set up. So once again, we're going to let's try this darknet foundry setup just to see how it looks like. We're not going to, like, of course, go into the different file structure and stuff like that. So we're probably going to do that in a later. This is like super important to us when we start writing smart contracts. But for now, we're just going to let's initiate this darknet foundry stuff. Yeah. So destination. Was it? Sorry. Level 2. Weird. What did it say? Failed to initialize new project Scarb because use Scarb init to initialize the directory. Oh, right. Sorry. Oh, it says this already exists. Okay, fair. I really have no idea what went wrong there. But let me just delete everything that's in here. I'm going to delete that, and let's ensure this is empty, right? Yeah, fair. And I'm going to run scarb init once again. This. All right, so apparently that got set up, but I have no idea why this is asking me this again. I'm just going to go out of that. Because let me clear this terminal. Because as you can see here, basically we have but this does not really look, this does not look like a Stacknet Foundry like setup. I'll probably check what was wrong later, but you could try it out from here. But as you can see, we just have like something similar to what we had here initially. Of course, the new target folder you can see in here was created when we run like the scarb build command. It just contains every lot of things. Probably you're going to, this is what you're probably going to like be this is like the Sierra version, which is like the intermediate representation. So that is not of importance to us. So you would basically find all those stuff within target folder. All right, so but aside target folder, you have your source.gitignore scarb block also was I think was generated like when we compiled, and the terminal file, which is like similar to what we kind of like have here. So you can, of course, the whole point of all that, right, is just to show you that you can actually like initialize a scarb project in like in non-scarb folder. All right, so we're just going to go back into our Cairo book, and yeah, so building a Scarb project, we have done this right using the scarb build command, and it compiles and tells you how long it took to compile, right? So this command creates a Sierra file in target/dev. So like I said, let's ignore the Sierra file for now. All right, and finally the scarb cairo run command, which is used to basically like run the main function of your program and print like the output here. So we want to run that command, and once we do this, if we get hello world, then congratulations, you finally did it. You're now a Cairo programmer. But if it doesn't work, then it's not my fault. I'm already a Cairo developer or a Cairo programmer. You're probably going to have to debug it. But I'm kidding. It should definitely work, or should probably work. All right, so we're going to go back to like the code editor, and yeah. So I'm going to let me go back into our hello world folder. Let's clear that, and the moment of truth, scarb cairo run. So it compiles first, and then we can see the output hello world. Wow, that's amazing. So if you got this from your end, then congratulations. You just took your first step to becoming a chironaut. But in this sense, we could actually say you're actually now a chironaut. So welcome to like the world of chironauts. Uh, okay, so that was quite a lot. That was quite like a lot of information, or maybe not. But if we go back into like the what's it called, the Cairo book, we can see this next section that talks about the anatomy of the Cairo program. So I already talked about this. So the main function, which is, as they said, it's special. Like I said, it's the entry point, the first code that's run like in every executable Cairo program. So always ensure like you have a main function specified like within your Cairo program. And yeah, so every function in Cairo starts with like the fn word, right? So this fn word, you specify the Cairo name, the parenthesis, shit's called parenthesis, right? Yeah, so the parenthesis where like the parameters go, and this curly bracelets where like your logic go. So, of course, Cairo requires curly bracelets or brackets around all the function bodies. So it's good style to place the opening curly bracket on the same line as the function declaration, adding one spacing between them. So what that line is basically saying, right? Okay, let's go into our Cairo program. So it would be weird to have something like this. Your code might still compile, but like I said, it's weird. So it's just good practice, right? To have it somewhere here, right? And and have like in here your function logic would go in here, and you have like your closing what's it called, bracket or bracelet in there. Okay, so going back into the career book again, it says note if you want to stick to a standard style across career projects, you can use the automatic formatter tool, right? So Scarb indeed comes with another awesome functionality that makes your life easier. So there's the ability to like format code, which is very important. Like let's say in open source project and stuff, right? So let's say you want to stick with Scarb's recommended way of like formatting your codes, right? You just simply run the command scarb format, and it's going to format your code. As you can see, there was no more changes, so it means that we align with Scarb's recommended formatting techniques. So but to check, you can always run scarb format check, and if you run that, you do not see anything, which means that it checks with it, right? Okay, so let's go back again into the career book. Sorry for all the back and forths, but I just want to make sure we don't really miss anything. So yeah, so we talked about the print line, which is called the Cairo macro, and of course, like I said, if you want to go ahead, you could check out like the macro chapter, which goes into like what macros are. So he having this here indicates the difference between like how you call a macro and how you call like a normal function. Then finally, you'll see the hello world string, of course, which we did. And yeah, I forgot to mention in Cairo, every single line should end with like a semicolon. This basically indicates that the expression is over and the next one is ready to begin. So in the next episode, we're going to be looking at what an expression is, what a statement is, and so on and so forth. But for now, just know that it is recommended that you end your what's it called, you end every line of expression, right? For example, this is an expression, right? We end it like with the semicolon, which indicates this is ended. So if you don't, the compiler will shout at you. So take note of that. And yeah, so that's it. So there's a quiz here. Let's take it and hopefully we don't fail it. So it says, what is the name of the initial function that a Cairo program runs? So we're going to see main. Oh, I probably took this previously. Which command will run the code in your project? So we're going to say scarb Cairo run. Sorry, I'm cheating. I already took it earlier, so that's why you can see the options there. But Yeah, so I passed it, hope you did too. All right, so for the summary, let's recap all we've learned so far about Scarb. So we looked into how you can install, we didn't look into it, but basically I showed you how you can install one or more multiple Scarb versions using ASDF. You could try that out. But we did our own installation using installation scripts. We created a project using Scarb New Fair. We learned how to build and compile your Cairo program using Scarb Build Fair. We learned how to execute a Cairo program, how to run a Cairo program using the Scarb Cairo run command Fair. And I say something, an additional advantage of using Scarb is that the commands are the same no matter which operating system you're working on. So at this point, we'll no longer provide specific instructions for Linux and Mac OS versus Windows. So yeah, for our dear Windows users, sorry for everything you had to go through in this chapter. From like the next episode, we're going not going to be having any sort of like any sort of favoritism or any sort of this is for Mac users, this is for Windows users, everything is going to be uniform. Well, congratulations. This was pretty much quite some information. You're already off to like a super great start on your career journey, and we're going to be building like a lot of stuffs going forward. But we still have a lot to learn, right? In the next episode, just like a sneak peek, if you want to read ahead, you could check out like the chapter 3, common programming and common programming concepts. But basically we're going to be looking at stuff like let's see, let's take a pick. So we're going to be looking into stuff like variables and mutability. We're going to be looking into data types. We're going to be looking into functions, how you comment in Cairo, and different control flows, for loop, if conditional statements, and so on and so forth. So well, congratulations if you learned something new, and if you really enjoyed the video, please do out to share it with a friend, share it with someone who's looking to like get into like the startnet ecosystem. And of course, we are very much open to reviews. So if you have any suggestions on how we can make these videos better, right, reach out to me on my Twitter at 0xdarlington, or on Telegram at darlington68, and I would really appreciate any feedback you drop. And with that, we've come to the end of like this particular episode. As always, do leave a like and subscribe. And if you haven't done it yet, hit the notification icon by the side so you're informed every time we drop a new video. All right, thank you so much, guys, and do have an amazing day ahead. Bye.